Hello guys, hello everyone, and hello Indonesian. Now I will introduce myself. My name is Hyantta Tondy Simbolon. You can call me Hyan. I'm from Uas University. I'm from 9202 class. Okay guys, at here I will tell you about the seminar, the point of seminar from Mr. Heri Pamungkas, and let's go to what's this guys. Let's go. Okay guys, the first session was explained by Mrs. Karma and Mrs. Puri. Mrs. Puri explained about the theory of classification communication, and Mrs. Karma explained about communication theory. Well, the perspective of communication theory relate to communication theory is taken from the talk of experts in the field of communication science such as Stephen Littlejohn, Karen Affas, M. Griffin Turner, and Harold Laswell. What follows is the importance of studying communication theory is their environment theory does not capture all reality or a phenomenon according to Prof. study. The third slide is the importance of studying communication theory. Studying communication as a science and communication skill that teaches knowledge with various contractions such as the field of journalism, public relations, communication management experts, presence, and so on effective communication skills. The second study is communication for communication research as a field of science that can answer various social problems related to communication that occur in society because many communication phenomena exist in every layer and activity human life. Okay guys, the fourth slide evaluate communication theory or communication theory have limitation. Is impossible to find a theory that is a whole little John believe that every communication theory must be evaluated based on usefulness as well as when conducting research. Communication theory is used based on purpose or intent of the research to be solved, then to choose an existing theory. I can be seen from the theoretical scope the theory. The second, the heuristic value, the validation or validity, the fourth, parsimony, or the fifth, summary, openness of openness. Okay, validity means the truth value of the theory validity. As the theory criterion has three meanings, namely one, value whether a theory valuable, the second is corresponding or apparentness, and the third, generalizability, namely conformity with the scope of the theory discussed previously. Parsimony or concise. Parsimony involves concise, logical simplicity. If there are two equally valid theories, then the theory with the most logical and simplest explanation is the best logical and simple one. Openness means that the theory is open to other possibilities that are tentatively contextual and of quality. Then on slide 6, there is division of theory in the first communication, study communication, store, or the communication of the people involved, examples of attribution theory, and second theory of social value or message, example of nonverbal code theory message. Theory third, space action theory, the channel media or agenda setting theory is the fourth impact caused by the example of the theory. And the last slide, namely in research in the field of communication theory can be used for reinforcement in chapter 2 relate to literature review, which is expected to be used to analyze the finding of data in the field, which are included in discussion related to the field of communication. Okay, the first grouping of various communication theory is an approach depending on what you want to research. What will research? Determining the method used. The method used will produce a variety of different theory. In classification communication, there is a traditional perspective, namely sociopsychology, namely social interaction, social psychology study, providing example of persuasive change in individual social behavior. The second is hypermetics, which is what characterizes your family. The second is how family members interact. The third, how things influence one another, for example, system theory. Now, the third one is how to communication effectively in public and the explanation of theory, namely the discovery of the arrangement of delivery style and memory aspects. Okay guys, the second session. Now, let's go. The second session was explained by Mrs. Susri Adeni, explaining the theory of individual to mass communication. Individual theory, namely there are three theories of attribution, theory of social judgment, theory of symbolic interaction. Attribution theory, for example, is like an interesting picture of human behavior. The second is how a person actually behaves. The third is how people enter the cause of behavior done by themselves or others. The second is the theory of social assessment. Social assessment, that is like paying attention to how someone give an assessment to know all the statements that are here. Then there is the theory symbolic interaction, in which meaning appears as a result of interaction between humans, both verbality and non-verbality. Then there is the theory symbolism, which are human feeling mediated by a number of concepts and language. Its symbol conveys a concept, namely a general idea of a pattern or shape. Okay, then there is conversation theory of communication, which explain how and why we adapt our communication behavior to the communication of others. Then there is the relationship theory of the relationship, that includes social penetration, the process of increasing one's openness and intimacy in establishing relationship with other people. Furthermore, from relationship theory, there is a dialectical relationship, which is about how people use communication or manage or regulate opposing forces that have the potential to enter with relationship with other people at certain times. Well, then there is group communication, namely trust group theory, view groups as isolated group of people who are not affected by outside world, but in fact groups cannot be separated from the wider external environment. There is functional theory. Functional theory explains about groups to make decisions by emphasizing the relationship between the quality of communication and the quality of group output. There are two organization theory, namely Weber's Barretic theory, namely regarding organizational structure that are hierarchical and controlled by rules. Well, this is the last slide, namely media and culture. namely that there are two culture ideologies according to Graham Modoff, namely that community groups are continuously involved in creating meaning system and realizing this meaning in form of expression into forms of social activity. Finally, there is hegemony or influence over the masses, which can be interpreted as the influence of power or domination of certain social group over other social group which are usually weaker. Okay guys, now I'm finished retell about the point seminar, and I hope guys you get the point and you can grow yourself guys, and maybe we can meet our time guys, and see ya. Thank you guys for watching me, and go English for communication, go, let's go.